How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the James Ladd Podcast. Today, my special guest is BJ Hughes from SOG Army. How you doing, BJ?
Good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Really good. The weather's been nice. It hasn't been too crazy of a summer so far. We'll see what happens.
Right.
So you're here local in California.
Yes.
So yeah, and you have a cultivation facility in Santa Rosa, and you're also an MSO. You're working in other states as well, correct?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about it.
So I started out on the East Coast, came here in 2007, already cultivating for 10 or 15 years.
Wow.
Got into medical. So like I was a second gen farmer.
Right.
But I was medical, came here, started doing things with my internet friends and just selling to shops, getting into licensing. So I got licensed and did that whole thing here. And then
how were those struggles going from medical into rec? I think everyone has their stories.
It was hard. I mean, but I don't know if I would have it any other way. It's the only way, I think, to continue forward in this industry.
Totally. I agree 100%. You know, the trials and tribulations and the guys that did it first had it the toughest because it was totally like, what do we do? And then sometimes there was no answers for stuff. There's a lot of waiting going on between for licensing, you know, getting your license and doing it properly, laws and rules changing.
Right.
So, yeah. And then it was kind of free for all back in the day. And then, you know, once they started tightening the reins on it, it got a little crazy.
Totally. I mean, it was loose at first, though. I mean, like even going into the transition from medical into rec.
When you were in Sonoma County, so
yes.
they're pretty chill there. I mean, I wouldn't say it's the easiest county, but it's definitely not the worst.
They offered us a great thing that was called penalty relief.
Yeah.
So if you're a medical grower that was in a zoning that they approved and you wanted to go legal, if you got architect drawn plans, they would let you transition. And with temporary occupancy. So we were able to save our asses by that as farmers because at that point I had two license things going. One zoning didn't work. That one worked. And
yeah. Well, you're up in Redding too, right?
Mm-hmm.
How's that plan going?
Dude, it's a great area for doing business if you want to pay to do it.
Yeah. It's always hot in Redding.
It's hot as hell.
Yeah. But, I mean, not always. It's cold during the winter.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, like, hot. Bro, we got a lot of snow this year, more than I had in years.
Crazy rain. We had the most rain I've ever experienced in my life in the Bay here. And you guys also, you had a lot of rain and snow and all kinds of crazy weather up there, it looks like.
Yeah, definitely. We got feet this year.
Yeah. How'd that affect your cultivation facility?
I'm not up and going yet. Well, I wasn't at that point.
Right.
I am now. It didn't affect us at all. We were doing construction. We could still make it there to the warehouse. So
nice.
I was shocked that the locals were, still working with snow, but.
Yeah. People want to make money. People work.
Yeah. So it was more like electricians.
Yeah. Nice. So what kind of genetics are you into these days?
Man, I'm really trying to I'm going more towards gas these days or old school OGs.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I personally like. Mm-hmm. I've been kind of boring myself with Skittles lately a little bit for the past 6 months or year, like just seeing how much I could smoke because it wasn't previously available. But,
right.
I'm really kind of just looking for crazy stuff. I've been working with a guy named Crane City and working with Mosca Negra a lot. Totally. Trying to hunt through their gear kind of collaboratively.
Yeah, Rick's a great guy. He was on our previous show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, Rick's the best.
Yeah, dude, Rick is the best. But yeah, working with him. So you're doing pheno-hunting. You're doing selections, helping with selections. You like popping seeds. You like trying to find winners.
Right.
Keepers and winners. And
yeah, so in all the legal grows, we have pheno-hunt areas.
That's awesome.
So
how big? Let's
see. It would be 164 square feet or 64 feet long by 2. So 128 square feet that we hunt, and we do 1 plant per square foot.
Cool.
So currently that's the deal. And Redding, we do that every round, every 30 days, which turns into hunting 80 to 100 seed at a time. So we find some cool stuff, put it in production. In Redding, we set it up around pheno-hunting.
Yeah.
So, or the ability to pheno-hunt, bring it to market under a nursery license with distribution and cultivation all under one house.
Yeah, people don't understand typically how long it takes to get stuff to market from seed. Like from one seed, doing the process of the selection and then actually growing that out and replicating it big enough to where you can produce flower of it takes a while.
Right.
So you want to walk us through your process?
Our process is, I don't know if it's different, but I feel like it's the old school way. So we grow seed, we pop seed. We usually try to go 50 to 100 seed. Mm-hmm. Whatever comes up at that point. The strong plants, even the weak plants, we'll let them go. We'll grow those plants for 3 to 4 months, which is dedicating a pretty good bit of area for a small rec grow, because we're only 100 lights.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a loss leader for the most part. It's not like people want to buy a mixed bag of stuff.
No. And so you're giving up a large area of your grow that could be used for flower production for other things.
Right.
So we're going to run all those seed the first time, keeping all the clones or the seed plant in veg. Mm-hmm. So like we'll take a top off the clone or a top off the seed, have a clone labeled to the plant that's in veg.
Right.
Take that clone, flower it in our test area. Mm-hmm. One time.
Right.
It's kind of like a rough sort at that point. And you're just like, okay, whatever, 10 that we all agree as a group is good. We'll keep those 10.
Nice.
Kill all the other plants, kill the males or give them out if people want them.
Right.
Move on to the next step. Okay, now you have those 10. That's 6 months at that point, probably. Mm-hmm. So grow it again. So
see what happens.
Yeah.
And in that period, you're seeing significant change from the seed run to the second generation of clone.
Definitely.
Maybe even the third generation of clone. There's changes that go on with sexual maturity in the plant. And really that second or third time is special.
Right. On the third run, a lot of the stuff that I showed you earlier before we came on live was third run stuff.
Yeah.
And it's weird because a lot of the things I'll say on the first run definitely don't strike my interest at all, that over time, on the second or third run change.
Yeah. So. Some of the ones that are really hot in the beginning might not be as great as some of the ones that just didn't catch up quite as fast. And then all of a sudden, wow, you're looking at a different genetic than you saw the first time. And
definitely.
That's where you find the special stuff.
I agree.
So, well, yeah. And if you skip that step, you have the possibility of losing a lot of good stuff.
I've lost so many things that way.
Yep.
On just doing a rough sort, killing and then being like, oh my God, but number whatever.
Yeah. You smoke it later, like it's been curing, or it's been like
you forgot about it. And you forgot about it. Yeah. And it just
you go back to smoking. And you're like, oh my God, what is that?
Right.
It's lost.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's kind of our method. And now we keep everything for quite a while. And
you're working in, what other states are you in? You're Michigan?
Mississippi now.
Mississippi. Wow. Yeah. How is Mississippi?
It's exactly like you'd imagine. Yeah. But it's pretty progressive when it comes to weed. Believe it or not, like the locals as a whole, the state as a whole is more accepting of cannabis than what I've seen in California.
Really? Wow.
In some, like the rural areas that are super conservative have been pro-weed.
Huh.
So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And you guys are doing cultivation. You have multiple licenses out there, or?
Yeah, multiple license, transporter, which is the same as distribution in Cali.
Yeah.
Cultivation and manufacturing.
Nice. So you can do extraction. You guys are doing volatile?
No, just rosin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or, solventless. We'll probably do some carts, but nothing like with alcohol or anything probably.
Wow. Yeah, you're a big rosin guy too. I saw the little collection you got before the show. That was definitely really cool. So with rosin and dabs, what are your favorite, what are your favorite temps?
Man, I'm going in at like 490 these days, 480 depending on the nail.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of lower.
I'm like a 420 guy myself.
Oh, nice.
I go like cold start.
That's cool.
Yeah, I like dabs. I just don't like doing dabs on the show.
Oh, I bet.
There's like a couple no-nos that we've gone through. Like my previous show that I did before the podcast, I smoked some Durban Poison with Marlon. That's a big no-no.
Definitely.
Him and I, we couldn't remember what we wanted to talk about half the time. And, so I try to keep it chill on the shows. So yeah. You have any flower to show today?
I definitely do. Let me grab them. So what we got here is basically a lot of sisters to our strain Pink Zaza. That is, we pheno-hunted 2 or 3 years ago now.
Yeah, from Exotic Genetics.
Crane City.
Oh, yeah. Pink. Okay, cool.
Crane City. Yeah. Nice. So it was Pink Zaza E, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And it was never released because he disappeared for some reason, but I was testing.
Nice.
So he sends them to me in a vial with like blue tape over them, right? Mm-hmm. Never met the guy in person. So when I get the seeds, it's just a piece of blue tape, like written, and I didn't see the eye. Huh. So he disappeared for 2 years. We found a keeper. I thought it was Zaza. It was already sold as Zaza, but it's actually
Pink Zaza.
Zaza-E, which is supposedly his take on acai.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
So a little backstory. So was our keeper at that point. So then he sent me more from the Pink line.
Yeah.
And so this is Pink Duos and Pink Godzilla.
Nice.
Which are the same father, different mother.
Interesting.
You know?
So yeah. So what kind of, so this one right here is the
Pink Duos #2, which is not the one that we're dropping yet. This was the one that needed 3 rounds that really I almost killed.
Nice color, good structure, interesting nose.
Yeah.
Almost a little cotton candy-ish. A little gas to back. I like that.
We were going to let it go.
Yeah.
Literally, this was round 3 or 4. They were like, we're going to,
And then you're like, no, this might be the one.
So this was our keeper before. This is Pink Duos #4.
This has a little bit of orange rind in it.
Mm-hmm. It's more like the Zaza. There's Zaza-E, I feel. This is more like candy gas or something.
Yeah, that's more like candy gas. This is definitely more... It's not tangy at all, or like Tropicana even. It's like... Right,
but it is in... Everyone
it does have a little bit of that citrus rind in it, for sure.
My partner initially was like, it's tangy. We cannot sell it on all that whole line because he is so like, I hate tangy, I hate Jack.
Totally.
It doesn't even matter like if it's a hint of that. So,
but this has really nice structure.
Yeah.
It looks like it yields really well too. I like the way the calyx stack.
It is. That's like 52 days.
And you finish in 52 days. That's
like maybe 55 all the time.
Yeah. But somewhere between 52 and 55. Anything like that. That's great.
It was shockingly early.
Yeah.
Compared to the Zaza, which was like 65, 70 to really like, it doesn't even, the nose, the look of the flower, nothing, it doesn't come out until the last 10 days for sure.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Same thing, color. A lot of times color doesn't come out until the end. I mean, sometimes some stuff is color all the way through, but a lot of the good stuff where it's color, it comes out at the end.
Definitely.
Color is so subjective. People love it, hate it. I think taste is more important.
Taste is definitely more important, but I feel like the market is just
the market demands purple. It's got to have. Now it's not fully purple. We just want a little purple.
Oh no! I guess I'm learning. I'm behind. I was looking for all purple. So that's Pink Godzilla, which is a sister, and
it's so funny because this nose is almost in the middle of these two. It has the candy gas, but it also
they're
has like a little hint of the rind too.
Right.
It's super small hint of it. But this checks all the boxes. This is like market weed. This is the stuff the hype weed that everybody wants. Purple candy gas. It's got the look. It definitely has the optics, and the bag appeal of this stuff is great. And so, as far as nutrients, what nutrients do you run?
Man, we're on Athena right now, and we use compost teas and like humic fulvic bud swells, probably 30% of the time.
Cool.
And cocoa.
Cocoa's good. What cocoa brand is your favorite?
We're using Floraflex or Cloud Core.
Yeah.
Right now.
Nice.
Yeah, I like those guys.
Cool.
But I've been looking for different fertilizer companies. We're trialing cutting edge louder powder.
I'm a huge fan. Louder powder. Shout out to Uncle John and Sean. Cutting edge is the shit.
Definitely. Those guys hooked me up, and we're giving it a shot right now, actually.
Yeah.
If you have any tips, I'm down, off camera or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good stuff. I think it's simple and easy to use. I feel like it's a good all around product. And I'm not stuck on just one nutrient line out there saying one that's better than the other, but there are a few good ones, and Cutting Edge is definitely one of the few good ones. I like Front Row as well. I think Front Row, they do a good job. And
gotcha. A Front Row is always good for me.
Yeah, United, nobody even really knows about United. United is amazing.
Really?
And that's made by the owners of Athena. Really good stuff.
Good to know.
Yeah, that's cool. A fun one. So if you're used to running Athena transitioning to United is not very difficult.
Interesting. So I prepared for like JR Crop Tech or anything at our new spot where we had like...
I haven't ran it, but I heard that's good. I'm sure it's good. Josh and Ramsey, you can't go wrong.
Right. They seem really awesome and, were really knowledgeable about the product, and it made sense to me for how they were trying to apply it.
Yeah.
But at the new place, we have 16 heads on our H.E. Anderson. So the thought was that we'll always be trialing a new nutrient line and kind of trying to get a hold on the science of it, of like what we're seeing versus what we're putting for inputs, and, and also manufacturing the products.
Right.
So,
yeah. They helped put this facility together at one point.
Oh, awesome.
Of course. Yeah. So let's dive into your history a little bit. When did you start smoking? You're about my age. We're about the same
1994?
94. I was 91, 94. Yeah, it's all about the same time. It was when, it was the wild, wild west, different times.
Yeah.
So, there was some purple weed, but like there was green weed and brown weed.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah. And then there was some exotics too. We got some stuff in like Maui Wowie. What about you guys?
So my dad grew. I was in like a weed desert. I was in Georgia.
Oh, wow.
In Alabama when I was growing up. So there was no weed, but my dad luckily grew. So he grew like Big Bud, Friesland Indica. He had like...
really cool. So he grew from seeds.
Grew from seed, from Dutch seed mostly.
Yeah.
Yep.
From Dutch seed. Nice.
Yeah. So I stole his weed, growing up. Like
totally.
Legitimately stole his plants,
Stole his plants, like actual plants.
Yeah, I stole a plant. Like the first time I smoked, I stole a plant. Like, so.
How many plants did he grow? A lot?
Like probably 40 or 50 in the backyard, but he had an indoor garden and we had property in the country. So assuming now he was just flipping clones at the end of the season because it was like late October and I'm cutting through the backyard to go to my friend's house and just, there's like 45-6 gallon pots like spread out through the backyard with plants like 3 feet tall, flowered out. I'm like, sweet.
Well, they weren't done if you took them. So,
they weren't done. They weren't done. But my neighbor convinced me to steal one, so we stole it, dried it out.
Nice, good stuff.
Yeah, and then
So you're BJ the third.
Yes.
So you should be called Trey. That's supposed to be your name. The Treys I know are
I guess
the
so,
thirds.
right?
Yeah,
they're very proud of it. Too.
Yeah, totally. And your business partner is also a Trey.
Yep.
He's a third, which is really cool.
Yeah, and my other one in Mississippi is a Trey.
Really?
Yeah, dude. A lot of Treys. He's a
Some
PJ.
things were meant to be.
Yeah.
He's not a BJ as well.
No, he's a PJ.
BJ, all the third. Yeah, that's great. You started smoking back in the day. Your father grew.
Yeah.
And then
high school job growing weed.
Yeah.
For my dad's friends. Dad's friends grew weed. Dad quit. I started being a young stoner. I knew I didn't want a regular job. I started begging his friends, which turned out to be motorcycle riders.
Yeah.
And they put me on, after putting me through the ringer a little bit. And I'd worked in a grow house from like 15 till I graduated high school at 18.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
In Georgia.
Yeah.
Really cool. So how did you get from Georgia to out here?
The internet, man. Like
the internet?
Yeah.
Through the forums?
The forums, yeah.
Really?
Yes.
That is a great story.
Yeah, the forums.
So through the forums you met guys. I mean, a lot of us were on the forums.
Right. So like the bikers showed me Mark Emery.
Oh, wow.
And then so we were buying seeds from Mark Emery.
Luckily you didn't end up in Canada.
No. And then we started going to like Heaven's Stairway, and then that kind of went away. And then I found Gypsy Nirvana.
Totally.
The forums and IC Mag and Overgrow first.
Overgrow
and then IC Mag. Yeah. I made friends on Overgrow, and then by IC Mag, I was like doing my own thing and had more adult friends, and like made a buddy out here, Hillbilly on PCP.
On PCP.
So
nice.
he was Bubble Man's original administrator.
Okay, cool.
On Full Mount Bubble.
Yeah.
And so he brought out like a bunch of people from all over the world and rented out a floor of the Metropolis in San Francisco, and showed us the medical days, like showed us the whole ropes of San Francisco.
Nice. Yeah. So were you in the Bay when you first moved out here?
No, I moved to Chico.
You moved to Chico.
That's all I could afford.
You like the heat.
No.
Georgia to Chico, man.
I couldn't afford anything else, man. It was like insane going from Georgia to San Francisco. So
Chico's got a cool college scene though, for sure. Like I partied in Chico and woke up on the lawn a couple times.
Yeah, it was cool. I lived in the country.
Some random people's lawn, That's
I lived in Paradise, actually.
Nice.
So before the fires. And then
I had some friends in Cherokee, or they were off Red Cherokee Road. Yeah. Houses burned down and really rough. But man, there's a lot of good weed up there.
Oh, it was amazing. Cut my teeth on big plant grows and, like
greenhouses or just outdoor?
No, we did outdoor, like big, 100 plants and 400 gallon or bigger pots on irrigation.
Yeah, that was big back in the day. That was like real big.
Yeah, then still rocked houses, but it was like 20 lighters to kind of pay the bills in between the seasons and stuff. Selling to shops.
Right.
And then we got raided in Chico. Right. So my guy went to jail. Yeah. Brandon, B Money. Mm-hmm. I come down to Sonoma. It's like 2011. And get linked up with a local dude, take over helping him revise his farms. He had like 2 or 3 houses. Yeah. Started doing that, still medical scene, still selling to like Organic Can and Green Angel and Malibu and just kind of rolling around up and down the coast, selling to the major cities, with our little bit of weed. Right. Then legalization happened and it's like, dude, my whole life changed. So do we go legal or do we not? Yeah. And so went legal because I didn't want to stop. It was almost like, like on Dead Tour or something. You're like, I don't want to get off the train. Like, I'm not ready yet. Yeah. So legal was the only option. So. Did
you go on tour back in the day?
Yeah.
Nice. But you missed San Francisco.
I mean, dude, I saw Jerry. I had 91 twice.
You didn't miss getting sick, though, the 3 days in San Francisco. I got the worst flu I've ever had in my life.
I just didn't do it this time. I was too busy building the new thing.
Yeah. So. Great shows.
I heard. I wanted to see the drone show really bad.
The drone show was nuts. The whole thing was nuts. And I am used to getting seats usually, for shows, concerts, for the most part. But standing with my buddy Ben, we were like 20 feet from the stage all 3 nights. Didn't miss a single song. It was nuts. It was amazing. It was like one of the better performances for Dead & Company. They finally got their shit together, which, to be 100% honest, I was against Dead & Company when it first started. And I was like, John Mayer, you've got to be kidding me, and I couldn't believe that John Mayer was going to be stepping in for Jerry. And I think little hurt over the whole Jerry thing and them trying to revise it or whatever, but he really grows on you. His guitar playing has gotten better. I feel like when he first came out, he had this commercial sound to his voice, which didn't really fit into the band. And now you listen to his voice and they've filtered it differently and they've changed it a little bit to where I feel like it just really kind of integrates well with the band, where it's part of the band. And his solos, he just rips on guitar. The guy he's a killer. So yeah, a lot of fun. It's not Jerry. It's not supposed to be Jerry, but it was definitely an amazing experience.
That's awesome. I heard they're on tempo a lot more than they had in a long time. I haven't heard this yet.
Yeah, and OTL singing. I mean, OTL singing is great. I'm a big OTL fan too. So, and he had Jerry's hand painted on his face with the missing finger.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, it was cool. A lot of fun and a lot of good people that I see. It's just like I go to Spanibus and I see a certain group of people. I go to Dead & Company parking lots and I see the same friends that I see at those shows, that sometimes it's the only time I get to see those guys.
Right.
So, yeah. So do you do events as well?
I do.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Sessions and other stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. We up and down the state, pretty much anything legally we can and, push the boundaries where we can if we can work something out. Like now that everyone's kind of figured out like a delivery service to help fulfill to a patient. Yeah. Or whatever.
So if you were to go back and talk to your younger self, in the first couple of years of getting involved, with all the knowledge you have now from the stuff you've done, what advice would you give yourself?
Go harder than you want to.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
Grind.
Grind hard as fuck. Like if you think you want to do the show, but you don't know if you have like 10 grand, do the show. Even if you know you're going to spend the 10 grand to do the show.
Yeah. Even if you break even.
Even if you break even, do it every time. Because eventually you'll quit breaking even.
That's my goal too. At shows is to break even. Yeah. And I still sometimes don't break even doing shows. And it just is what it is. It's part of the business and it's about grinding. I agree. So keep grinding. Yeah. And push harder than you ever pushed before. And, I think mentally we're not as tough as most people aren't as mentally tough as they actually are. Yeah. Like we think we can only go here, but we can go here.
Oh, definitely.
So sometimes you want to give up, but sometimes it's just perseverance. And the ones that are left are the ones that didn't give up.
Oh, definitely, dude. 100%. That's the biggest fear there. Or the biggest thing I regret was I was a brand and just didn't do shows, and we were concerned with building our infrastructure. And I think on looking back at it, I should have been going to shows like crazy hard, like we are now. But
Yeah, I'm in one of those giving modes too. So if you see, are you giving moods at the shows I've been going to? We give out a lot of product for people to try.
We do too.
Seeds. I like giving out seeds. Yeah, I think that's important. Getting your name out. Like I stand behind my product. You stand behind your product. You have a great product, by the way.
Thank you.
So yeah, I think it's great. And where can people find your product if they're looking for it? What dispensaries are you guys at in California?
Oh man, so we're in all the harbor sides and all their affiliates. We're in all the March and Ashes. We're in Catalyst. We're in all the Sparks. We're in Mercy Wellness. We're in Doobie Nights. We're in the Cookies up in the North State. We're in the Sundials area and all the Sundials in Redding. We're in I can't remember our Sacramento people, I'm sorry. But in Lone Park, we're in Royal Healing, and we're in Roots to Wellness, and yeah, pretty much all over the whole state. If there's a major store in the area, or if you'd like to see us, let me know. But that's where we are.
They can hit you up on Instagram for any of that.
Yeah.
But so I got a question for you. SOG Army, does that sound for Sea of Green?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's cool. Yeah, I think that's a great name. So, and was that just an epiphany that came on, or how did the name come about?
It was my forum name.
That was your forum name, really? Yeah. See, that's pretty cool.
It never was supposed to be a business. It was my forum name. Yeah. So, but when I came and I started meeting forum friends, and they were all sharing information about clubs, it was all SOG Army weed.
I totally, I remember seeing some of your posts.
So it was like,
that's wild.
So
some of the threads. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, it's funny now. It's,
yeah, it's come full circle.
Yeah. I'm going to we're going to do a new brand called Sea of Green for the bigger space in Redding.
Yeah.
And drop the Army, because I don't think I ever wanted Army to be in my company name, to be honest. Like in my younger self, I would have never said pick SOG Army as your legal weed brand. But, I want to try to soften it up a bit as we start producing more.
Yeah, soccer mom it out a little.
Yeah, just a little bit. Because I'm not in the Army. Like, no one in our company went to the Army. It was about
military mentality. Is what it's all about.
No, it was like we had an army of plants and an army of workers, because what it took, an army of houses actually at that point. Yeah,
things were a lot different back in the day. Like if you wanted to scale, you didn't scale to a warehouse typically. I mean, some of you guys did. There were people that did it out there, but a lot of times it was scale. Like in Monopoly, you get another house. Mm-hmm. You get another house, and you get another house, and you get another house. And I have friends that had 12 houses. My business partner, he had 15 houses, I believe. Yeah. I was happy with my 8 lighter for the most part. And at one point I got a 50 lighter, but like, there was a basement in a house, but it was houses.
Right.
That was how it was before 2012.
Yeah, you worked within 200 amps.
Yeah.
You
figured out how to make it work. Maybe you can't turn on the microwave.
And you're definitely flip-flopping probably if you got space.
If you're doing it, if you're maximizing it correctly. Wild.
Yeah.
So today we have a special guest coming on. For our special guest, I'd like to welcome Rick Mosca. How you doing, Rick?
Hey, doing well, James.
Yeah, so Rick was our guest from last week. Just happened to be here, and he's going to be on the episode. You guys are friends. Actually, part of the reason you're in town was to see BJ.
Yes, exactly. We spent a few days together touring some outstanding farms.
Tell us about it. You guys got to see Flora Flame, which they were our second guest on the podcast.
Yes. Interesting. Multi-tiered, so 2-level. Indoor living soil grows.
Yeah.
Just perfection.
Spectacular.
Yes.
He does a pretty good job, especially at scale. You're not seeing anybody else trying to do that at scale.
Yep.
And not only anybody else trying to do it at scale, but 2-tier scale, and those beds move like butter.
Right.
They really do.
Pretty crazy, right?
He had so much space. He had more space than hydro growers I see between the tiers. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's doing a really good job. I think he's onto something with the living soil organic. I definitely think you are going to be able to charge more for a product like that. I like the way his stuff smokes. It's really good. The genetics he has good genetics. He's grown well, smokes great. Where else did you guys go?
We went to my farm.
Oh, nice.
Yep. In
Awesome.
Santa Rosa.
She got to check out the mids. Just kidding.
Yeah. We saw the booth factory.
Right, the booth factory. Yeah. So how was it?
Excellent. Yeah, just really great segmentation of every process along the grow. So yeah, from a clone room with moms to juvenile plants and then flowering rooms.
Growing some of those raspberry boogie crosses?
You had, what was it?
We had the second hunt with the second go around on Ice Pie, Raspberry Boogie, and what was the Hulk side? I know it's Blue Mosa, and the tag just ended up saying Hulk, but what was the other side of that?
So that had the Planet Hulk in it. So that has Bruce Banner with our pink animal crackers.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's a good one, actually.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
Yes. There's some growers, phenotype hunters out of Michigan that's pulling 3 pounds of light on her. So
3 pounds of light is good.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think if you can get 3 pounds of light of good flower, you're doing good. I mean, there's guys that get 5 pounds of light, but is it good? I mean, I'm not really into that. I want quality at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So
it boils down to.
You guys are working on collaborations. Let's talk about those.
Yeah. So I found the pink Zaza. Rick and I have been friends for years.
Yeah.
Like since the forums that I discussed.
IC Mag days.
Yeah.
You guys met on the forums?
Yeah.
On IC Mag or on Overgrow or which?
I didn't know him on Overgrow, but I was on Overgrow. HDTV 420 was my moniker.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But, and so, I mean, we really became friends at IC Mag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our friend Bacchus, who ran a library back in the day, introduced us.
Oh, cool.
And he had like a pretty substantial clone library. I don't know.
Amazing.
I don't know if people know, but like back in the day, there's people on the forums that had libraries of really sick genetics that were clone onlys. And if we kind of would develop friend trading circles that, trade genetics. And he had the biggest library I'd ever seen. Yeah. At that point, it was crazy.
Like 50 strains.
At least back then.
At least.
At least.
But they were quality. So he had a lot of friends out here that he would source them from. And he brought a lot of fire to the
old school, new school, just a mix of everything, or what kind of stuff?
Older school.
Older school.
We're going back 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
So so it's more old school stuff.
Yeah, more old school, but still, like I guess old school now. But I mean, it's like Purple Urkels and stuff like that, or like the OGs and stuff. Were
Purple Urkel's fire though. Like I like Purple Urkel. It's it's not the biggest yielder. I don't think it's a really good commercial strain or anything like that, but it's cool.
Yeah.
I like GDP too.
Yeah.
I just don't like growing it. I'd rather you grow GDP and I'll buy it and smoke
right?
it.
Exactly.
It's one of those ones like, cause I grew a lot of GDP, 31 days of veg every time back in the day. Well, it's just such a short squatty plant. And the thing is, if you don't veg it long enough, you don't get big enough buds.
Right.
So GDP was cool. Then it was like the pheno I had was dark purple. It was dark purple and it was like fucking candy gas.
That was the first candy gas.
It was more like not necessarily candy gas, but floral gas. It was like that straight up like lavendery, flowery, floral character with the gas. And it had a nice gas to it too.
So, we met back on the forums in the days. And then we eventually met at one of the shows here in California. One of the events and
like High Times or Hempfest.
I think Emerald is what we're hitting.
Nice. One of the real events.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes, the true events. And so we've stayed in touch ever since. And he's got great respect for his growing skills, his flower. He sells out all the time. So he puts his weed where his mouth is. And, got to respect that. So he's all about quality and top shelf, and I think, that's what I've been learning from both of you is that it's all about the quality, and anything that's not there doesn't hit on all cylinders, and, it's not worth growing.
Yeah.
So, and we want to differentiate ourselves with that fine quality. And I think people notice.
Yeah, so you guys get to see a sold-out show at the Fox of Larry G the other night, huh?
Oh, yeah.
How was that? old school like vibes or what?
Okay, like it was a great vibe.
Yeah.
Larry June's not the best performer.
Oh wow.
But like it was great. It was really a great show. Like the crowd was cool. I don't think he expected to see all those shows sold out from how he acted, because it seemed like it was like one show sold out and then he did another one and another one. So he's super hyped on it.
That's so funny. In 20 years ago almost now, I went and toured the Fox Theater when they went bankrupt, and they basically, it was for sale. And we didn't have the $10 million that they wanted for that place, but it's worth every penny. That place for $10 million would have killed it. So I'm not sure exactly how they got it back, but
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's a good location. And there's so much history there. So in that one building, and
good acoustics.
Good acoustics. Yeah.
We were feeling that bass.
Just don't leave anything in your car.
Oh,
no.
Just like Uber's a good idea. I like the Uber idea. Yeah, that area is just a rough area for parking and for theft. You know, people breaking windows, and I've had windows broken and there was nothing in the car. I've had stuff where there was stuff in the car with Jason from House of Cultivar. He was in town and we had our luggage, and he had put his luggage in the back seat. And they fucking broke the window, took everything. It was really rough. So,
oh man.
But that's Oakland for you. You know, you just got to be smart, keep your head on a swivel. Yeah. Same thing. Floor Flame is not the safest area. Those guys have been getting hit over and over and over. What a nightmare.
They got hit more than once.
Oh yeah, the guys have come back multiple times.
I had no
and then
idea.
they had it on the news. I don't know if you saw it on the news where
that's how
commercial forklift lifting up their gate.
That's awesome.
And the big thing is like, even if they don't get flour, a lot of times they do damage to your property, right? So the property damage costs money. It's not like insurance just covers everything, and or if it is insurance, there's deductibles. You know, so people are like, well, it's no big deal. They didn't get any flour. Well, they did damage.
True. Still expensive.
Still expensive. Everything costs money. Especially with the facility, you look at your equipment the wrong way, and it's another $5,000
easily.
So yeah,
easily.
You go try to tinker on your ACs, bad idea.
No, definitely don't do that.
Right, don't do that. Yeah,
no, get a certified AC tech.
Absolutely.
So we pheno hunt. I ended up with a pink Zaza 2 years ago or something, and Rick and I trade clones.
Yeah.
So and have always traded clones freely, like back and forth. And I sent it to Rick. I was like, you got to check it out. Yeah. And so I sent him the pink Zaza, and we think that's probably going to be some of the better collaborations we've done together. We did a Blue Mosa collab too that worked out really, really well.
Nice. Awesome.
Blue Mosa S1s, and then some Blue Mosa hybrids with the Blue Hulk or the Incredible Hulk.
So you're then selling the flower and you're selling the seed. Or your guys are selling them together, basically.
That basically is seeds, and the flower.
Yeah, he does seed, I do flower.
Yeah.
And then I select, and sometimes he selects.
Yeah, part of our process here is to actually have the flower of all the seeds that we make. So we'll have samples. We don't have a lot of it, but I can give you an example of anything that we have on our menu. There'll be a flower sample to back. Whether cool. It's clone, we're doing some interesting CBD stuff, CBV, THCV. So yeah, it's wild, but we want to have samples of everything available, especially like when we go to shows in California, we will have flower samples. We have cultivation partners too. So
that's great, because that's what I think an educated consumer is looking for.
Yeah, and I think it's the future. I think everyone it's just a standard that should be the norm.
Correct.
So,
yeah, and that requires planning.
It does.
Planning and patience and all those good things for sure. But anything good takes time and requires a lot of planning.
Yeah,
right.
More than you would ever think.
And execution.
Execution and organization. I think organization is huge. We both kind of talked about, note taking. We talked about grinding. So if you were to talk to your younger self with all the vast experience you've acquired over these years, and you talk to yourself that is 1 or 2 years in the industry, what advice would you give yourself?
Boy, probably to double check to make sure that we understand where the plants are and trying to keep them happier than we already do.
Yeah.
Because it's a challenge. It was a balance. You have so many different things in the works that one thing is off kilter and it affects everything. So, just be able to take that extra time to do some double checking, because I think it's really worthwhile.
Yep. BJ said grinding. Tell yourself, grind harder than you ever thought you could.
Yeah. That's part of it. Absolutely.
It's like going to a strip club.
Yeah.
Right. Stripper mentality.
Definitely stripper mentality.
Get your money's worth.
Yeah, work hard though. No, it's about hard work for sure.
Yeah. Hard work and working smart.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think you need to work smart too. That's definitely a great key point. When we were younger, I believe a lot of people said work smart, not hard. And my father was one of those people that said, work smart, but work your ass off. Work hard, work smart. And I think those two things are super important, because there's other people doing it. It's competitive. That's why quality is so important. It wasn't so important 20 years ago. You could still sell your weed if you sucked at growing. If you suck at growing, you don't sell your weed anymore. Even the home grow guys, it's done. It's not expensive. So it's so competitive. So things like genetics play a huge key role in everything, and also quality.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Without, that quality, it's all for naught. I mean, it's not.
What are you doing it for? But I feel like a lot of guys, and the guys I've interviewed lately, and the people that are still here smiling, are really passionate about what they do. They love weed. Most of them smoke. We all smoke. So we're all roughly the same age. Mm-hmm. And so we all went through the same trials and tribulations to a degree within the industry. And we saw these changes from the 90s on up, and it's a whole different world. So
yeah, it really is. And I think with us individually working with that passion, but running at, near capacity or 100%, that just ups the level of flower and genetics we create.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to set our work apart, because we've taken the time to put in all those steps and making sure that they flow correctly.
Yeah.
So, and that's what makes these kind of meetings fun, because we get to look at each other's flower.
I like seeing new stuff, especially. And I feel like, especially with you, we get to experience some new crosses together, and it's like some new stuff I've never seen before. That raspberry boogie has this real sourness that's really, it's almost musky, but not musky. It's definitely incensey, a tiny little bit, but like in a good way. Yeah. Like Nag Champa-ish.
Yeah, with a nice bouquet.
With a nice, beautiful bouquet that's loud. I mean, that stuff is loud, and it smokes loud, and you get fruit. You get a lot of character. It's like eating a whole meal. Dessert. Organic dessert. Fresh berries.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, we have a little flower if you want to take a look at her.
Sure.
This is the Zero's Raspberry Boogie Mom.
Oh, yeah.
Smell familiar?
I wouldn't kick her out of bed for eating crackers. It's a good one. That's really nice. So this one also has that funkiness.
Yeah.
So where it's like,
that's what Zero's.
It's funny because it's from the Zero's. It's seriously interesting. But it smells like, it's not like pine needles, but it smells like a forest. Like I get this forest smell to it. Mm-hmm. I get like this creamy sweetness to it. It's got this sour raspberry, like sour cherry and raspberry maybe.
Yeah.
But really, really, really exciting. And if it translates in the smoke, which I'm sure it will, it's going to be like really, really enjoyable. But it's like, I like these complex smokes. I really like complex flavor profiles. Mm-hmm. It's like, my problem with the Agent Orange from Subcool back in the day was that it was straight orange. Like actually, House of Cultivar had a pheno of Agent Orange that wasn't straight orange, but like all the other ones I saw and all the flower I saw coming out of Humboldt, that was Agent Orange, because that was the easy one. People were busting those out back in the day, and this is like 15 years ago maybe. Mm-hmm. That Agent Orange was straight orange. There was no complexity to it. It wasn't even as complex as Tangy, and Tangy's pretty orange, but there's a little rind.
Yeah, it was like straight limonene.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was just...
like orange cleaner.
Yeah, it was like orange cleaner. That's what I thought of it. And it wasn't cleaner like the burning your nose kind of cleaner. It was like missing that part of it. Mm.
So Mr. Clean like?
Yeah. Yeah, but very linear, monoterpish, or, you know, it's like, but like something like this is the complete opposite end of the spectrum. This is where you got complexity, where you smell it and there's so many different recognizable smells, but you got to kind of pick them apart.
Yeah, very much so. And this one is our collaboration with BJ, SOG Army. That is the Zope to the Pink Zaza.
So this stuff looks friggin' nuts, dude. This is, I mean, you got sugar leaf on here, and the sugar leaf is just sugar.
We leave it on because it's so crusted with resin.
And so this one has that orange rind. It has a little bit of that rind in there. I'm a huge fan of that rind when it's subtle like that, you know, and it's complex. It's another complex one.
And this is offspring of our seeds, you know, that
there's a little soapiness to this too. I like that. That soapiness is nice. Like it's the funny thing is like I took bubble baths as a kid, and some of us took, my parents, you know, when we were little kids. I remember taking I mean, this is like 40 years ago.
Like Mr. Bubble?
Mr. Bubble. That's what this smells like. It has a Mr. Bubble smell to it, like underneath.
Well, we have to come up with a name. So
yeah, I mean, Bubba smells like Irish Springs a little bit, you know, like Bubba Kush. It has more of the Irish Springs kind of bubble smell. Definitely. And this is more like bubble bath, Mr. Bubble. Yeah, like straight up nostalgic from when I was a 5-year-old kid, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I love about flower, though. Like being able to bring back memories of being a kid.
Yes.
You know,
oh, dude, 100%.
I can't even think of the last time I thought about like bubble baths or like kids' bubble baths. I don't have kids, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I guess, depending on how you're looking at it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those mixed things. It's like, it'd be great to have kids in some ways, but in other ways, it's great to be able to travel and to see the world. And, you know,
absolutely. Yep, for sure.
I'll be like Soma. I'll have kids when I'm like 60.
That's what I'm hoping for too, bro.
Yeah.
He's the man.
He's the man. 30-year-old girlfriend at the time, Jessie. And,
yes, I remember her.
Crushed. Yeah, little Jake. Jake is adorable. He's a great kid. So saw him not so long ago.
Terrific.
A year ago.
In Amsterdam?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my number one stop. Is over at Soma's. Is typically my first, or Greenhouse. I have a bunch of friends there, but yeah, I love Greenhouse. Stopping by there and stopping by the gray area.
Yes, gray area.
It's been a little while since I've seen John over at the gray area. Big shout out.
That's the first time I ever smoked bubble gum that was real bubble gummy.
Yeah,
was there
from the gray area.
Yep.
Yeah,
they had the best. It was during one of the High Times Cups back in the.
They always had good flower. They're like their flower selection was some of the best. Voyagers was pretty good. Greenhouse had stuff, good stuff from time to time. Some really good stuff. Hash, a lot of good hash in Amsterdam.
Yes, Bluebird is my favorite for hash.
Yeah,
they had the Milana cream. They had Temple balls. I mean, they had it all. Yeah. You know, they were really known.
So you were supposed to go to Cannabis, but you flaked on us.
I flaked. I started this new facility.
Right. Yeah, we had a great time without you. Don't worry.
I'm sorry. I'll definitely do it next year.
Next year, yeah, put it on the list. We're definitely going to be there. Rock it out, get some good meals. So yeah, speaking of which, we got some good meals to go to later tonight. I haven't figured out where yet, but we're going somewhere good.
I'm sure it'll be good. Top show.
So yeah, well, thank you guys for coming on the show. I really appreciate both your times, and I look forward to seeing you again, partying with you guys later.
Great. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Cheers. Let's do this again. Hey everybody, don't forget to like and subscribe.